And we're in the Ernst Gade. We're on the map New Dawn. And I chose this battle because it's a good example of exactly how the German line of destroyers is as we get into this tier. The Gade is where it really starts to play like the higher level destroyers. You have good guns. I actually have this ship equipped with the 150 millimeter cannon. I've got 2 racks of torpedoes, and they spawn every 90 seconds. And I have stealth torpedo. I can actually go in, and if this will work, I can actually go in and be 6.6 clicks close to something before I'm detected, and my torpedoes go 8. So right now I'm approaching A. We have aircraft carrier, we have 2 destroyers on a side, 3 cruisers, they have 3 Pensacola's, and they have 5 battleships. So I'm looking as I go in. I didn't just race in and hit my boost. I'm trying to see if they're sending air this way, if they're going this way. I'm trying to stay undetected if I can, and there I just made the first spot. We're starting to get B, which is our other destroyer, and here's the bad guy. Let's see if I can close in, see who he is. It's in New Mexico. He's 12 clicks, and he's at the moment coming this way. And they've got air over B. I'm now spotting other ships. What do we got? There we go. There's the Pensacola. Now it looks like they are heading to B. So I'm going to angle in a bit, try to close the distance, but still be wary. If I get air, I'm going to kite away. That means sort of turn away, give them my rear end, and muscle out. Got about 20 seconds before I capture. And what is that New Mexico doing? So I actually have a couple of their battleships, and actually their whole flank pretty much is broadside to me. So I'm going to angle over and see if I can't just get a little torpedo action going. Thing is, I'm anticipating as I make this cap that they're going to show interest over here because they're getting C. It looks like unopposed. Yep, and that Texas is definitely interested in coming my way. In fact, it looks like at least a couple of them are turning this way. So I'm going to have to watch my distance, and they got our other destroyer. Unfortunately, our fleet at the moment is mostly behind an island and really can't offer good support. Our carrier has got folks overseas, which might harass them from capping a little bit. When you hit the cap or something in the cap, you slow down its capping. So right now, we're the only team with a cap, so we're getting points for that. But it's not looking good at B, even though a good bit of their fleet is now up, and I'm detected. I got a little too close to that Texas. It's going to make it a little harder to stealth torpedo. I've got planes overhead, so I'm going to swing around. And we have a friendly Hung-Hee Pan-Asian cruiser over there. And I can't guarantee that he's going to stay in that smoke even though he threw it. So I'm not going to throw a fish along that track. So I don't know that those are going to do any good, but it will at least keep them from wanting to come and close in. I got a fire on him. That's good. Keep shots out. You put that fire out, so if I can get another one going, it might stick. If he was silly enough to go ahead and stop one fire. New York and the rest of their ships are all generally moving in this direction, and they can see me, so there's no way I'm real quick getting out from behind that Texas. So now what I need to do is keep an eye on exactly, and I can't throw torque because of that friendly cruiser. I'm assuming he's going to come out and try to get that Texas. And his Texas guns weren't pointed towards me, but they are now. But he's going to be more worried about being dead from those torpedoes. So I can actually use the Hung-Yi smoke just went away, so I know I can't use it. But that is another trick when you don't have smoke. There's air moving generally over B, but we need B. Right now we have 1 cap each, but they're about to get 2. And even though we have a slight advantage in ships, plus the fact that I capped early, that can change real quick. This game is far from even set up at this point. And it looks like the Hung-Yi is in trouble because he's out there where he's got both those battleships focusing on him. He's getting a little support from the Ioba, but I really can't open up too much. I'm going to see if I can get positioned for another torpedo strike on this New York. And maybe the New Mexico is going to be on the same track. I'm detected again. And it's hard to say just what's going to happen because there's fish out on both sides. Was a little iffy on the friendly cruiser, but I really don't assume he's going to be alive when those fish get there. He's putting another torpedo strike out, which he did a good job on that New York, and I will give him credit for playing that well given the circumstances. Looks like he's going to get torpedo hits on the New Mexico, which made him turn, so I'm going to put some more shots out, see if I can't get him on fire. I'm detected, and I've got both the New Mexico and both New Mexico's aiming for me right now, or at least heading this way. One's guns aren't turned right. And that's one of the other things with destroyers. If you can keep the enemy's guns on a battleship not pointed at you, they can't hit you. But he's turning to take advantage of it. Their New Mexico driver isn't doing too bad a job. Nor is their carrier driver in some respects. He's sending both his torpedo and dive bombers together. And our Ioba is just about there. He is now dead. So they are now ahead, and I just ran aground. You have to be very careful in close. German destroyers don't have the same tight turning radius as the Japanese or even the Americans, and I'm hung up on a rock, so I'm actually having to back and forward and angle a little bit to get off. You will sometimes have a rock that you can't see, or a platform underneath you can't see, or a reef. This one looks like it had a little bit of a reef. If you do that, you can get stuck on it, and it can take some real wiggling back and forth, because if you can't exactly figure the angle, you don't know how to turn your ship to get off the shoal. And it is now really important that I go ahead and get that cap. Granted, we just pulled ahead because the Independence managed to sink the Queen Elizabeth. Our carrier's doing a decent job too, but if we don't get the cap, they're going to pull back ahead because, well, that was an even trade. Not quite. The Congo got our destroyer, or our Congo got their destroyer, and their Pensacola got our New Mexico. So we're ahead by 40 odd points, but that's only like 11 clicks of that clock and they'll be ahead. So I'm moving there. I'm detected again, or was, probably by air, and there's a Pensacola. So let's see if we can see which way he's going. I'm using my torpedo launcher to tell me what he's doing. My opinion is he's looking like he's coming towards me, but he's going to turn around. So I'm going to try to stay in the cover of this island. And I've got all that air right over there. I've got a friendly battleship over there, which may keep the air off of me. And if that Pensacola is expecting me on the other side, maybe he won't see me slip into B. Because what I'm after more than anything else is that cap. Because one kill and the points could change real quick if we don't have this cap. I'm going to be seeing if... There he is. No, either he turned and is still behind the island, or he's turned back this way. And I am detected by air. And those Pensacola guns would hurt. And our destroyer is getting to where he's going to be at risk of that battleship. So right now I'm just trying to not get hit so I can finish this cap. To me, right now, the cap is the most important, so I'm not shooting. And also, I don't want to shoot because that Pensacola can hit me quicker than I can hit him with stuff that would really hurt, even with my 150mm guns. Oops. And I've got air. So I am the focus of their attention, but if I can manage for another second, there we go. I got the cap. I'm still detected, but unless he wants to come in and oppose, we're not getting caps or cap points on a 2-to-1 ratio. There's a New Mexico, and where is that other battleship? Pensacola. There's one of the battleships. So now I can go back into hunting mode, but you can see with that last kill, we are now barely 10 points ahead. If we were not in possession of 2 caps, we'd be losing right now. So that's one of the destroyer's most important jobs, although if they can't or they don't have the support and get killed, whatever, then other ships are going to have to do it. If you don't have caps, odds are you're going to lose. You cannot kill ships, generally speaking, as fast as a cap is capping against you.
Concentrate fire on the enemy warship.
All things being equal.
That's how it's done.
When you see these 3-minute, 5-minute, 7-minute games, is because one side got all the caps and did some kills. So there's the Queen Elizabeth. And I don't know where that other battleship is, but he's close. So I'm going to actually see, there he is. I'm going to actually mix up my torpedoes here in a second and see if I can't put good fish on the Queen Elizabeth. I have not detected right now, so I'm going to close in and put one set out, and I'm turning away. Boy, I'm real close to being detected, and now I am detected. I'm watching which way he's turning in a bit, but he's awfully close. There is New Mexico, so, and I've got 3 of their ships shooting at me. Hopefully they'll focus on me enough. One will assume I'm aiming at the other. Those fish actually look pretty good. And he's sailing straight, so I'm going to see if I can't even set him on fire now. I'm not detected because of my smoke. And he's turning away, so he might duck those, but no, he's not. That's 2 of them. And I got him on fire. What's going on with my fish on the other side? Where did that ship go? Sorry about that twisting. There they are. Except every time I do that, it moves on me. Sorry. For some reason, I keep going back to there we go. And I got 2 fish in over there. I'm going to keep working on the Queen Elizabeth because I didn't do as much damage to the New Mexico. I am flooding somebody. You notice my point counter is still going up, unless that fire is what's doing it. But if I can kill the Queen Elizabeth, then I don't have to worry about it, and I can focus. There we go, I got a kill. Let's see what's...
Battleship foundered.
Fortunately, my mouse controls are making me jump for some reason.
Our victory is
So there's a New Mexico, and it looks like he has managed to recover from my hits. And I do apologize for the trouble with the mouse. Hopefully you're not getting too dizzy watching this. And the Pensacola has gone off the map. Oh, it's gone off the map because he's dead. All right, so they have the battleship and the aircraft carrier left. They're in possession of C. And looking where their planes are going, I'm trying to see if I can determine where the aircraft carrier is. My suspicion from where the New Mexico was is he's going to probably, because they really can't win at this point, there he is, that he would come back towards B and see if he can at least get some closing points out or maybe even a kill. And he's got some air up there that's helping him over B. I don't figure that given everything, we're going to get the aircraft carrier, but well, it's going to be hard even getting to New Mexico with the time limit. But there's a chance.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
So let's see which way he's going. He put up his spotter plane, and yep, he's heading nice and straight ahead. Well, not quite, but he's going into B. I'm going to see if I can. I'm not going to be able to torpedo him in all likelihood, but I can probably get some shots on him. And game's going to be over pretty quick. We're now only getting one cycle for one, so it's even on that, but there's no way, of course, they can make up the difference. It just slowed down how long the game's going to take if he doesn't die. Because if he dies, the game's over. Because
Engine boost
of the
deactivated.
points. So, even though the rock was in the way, that did give me an idea of the interval and speed. And his guns aren't pointing towards me. If they'd been pointing straight at me, I probably would have kited away, because one tap out of him, and the game would go on a little longer because they'd gain points for me being dead. See if I can get a fire on him. These next shots probably won't even get there before the game. Well, they will, but the next one won't. There's a fire. DeSalvo's not going to make it. And game's over. Well, I did make it, but still game's over. Anyway, thanks for watching the results and and here are our results. I did 69,000 in damage, sunk one boat, 4 torpedo hits on those 2 battleships. I spotted 3 ships en route to the cap, set 3 fires. That was a good bit along with the flooding of what killed the battleships, and got 2 solo caps. Those were our only caps in the game, and that in and of itself was a significant aspect of our victory. So as a result, even though I didn't get the most ships, I actually came in second overall. Let's look at the detailed report. Like I said, of 120 capture points, I got 120 defense points, which is where there's a ship in a cap we're interested in. I only got 3 of those. Queen Elizabeth, I gave her 2 torpedo hits for 19,000 damage and another 15,000 in floods. With the New Mexico, fires counted for 1,000, but the main damage was still done with the torpedoes. New Mexico, that was strictly main battery shots, and the Texas was primarily main battery shots. I fired 20 torpedoes and hit with 4 of them. Shot 92 rounds out of my high explosive and hit with 55, so it was a pretty good rate. And I took home 179,000 in silver, 5486 in ship XP, 275 in free XP. I was using a special camouflage that came with a contest. So this is Snowy, the Ernst Gade. There were 4 ships, I believe, in a contest that ended up with that. And I misspoke. I thought I'd done more damage with the fire in the detailed report, and that often is a good way to get rid of a battleship. If they've had to go ahead and strike out with their repairs to stop damage, or a health party if they have them, and you just had a fire after they've used it, that fire is going to stick and help really burn them down. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the game. I'm going to go ahead and attach my current configuration for the Gade behind this. There's only a 10-point skipper. I went ahead and hadn't really worked the ship that much after I moved up the line. But she is a good little ship and a solid performer at her tier. Anyway, hope to see you out there. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you around. Take care. As promised, here's my Ernst Gade build. I do have the ship fully configured, and I have equipped it with 150mm guns. While that makes it for a slower reload time, they do hit harder. I also have equipped it with a B hull, which adds another 3,000 hit points, which is very useful, and improve the torpedoes. The old torpedoes were slower and they didn't go as far. With these, I have 65 knot torpedoes, and they go 8 clicks. And I also upgraded the guns, so now they travel just under 11 clicks. I have main armaments modification 1, which decreases risk of batteries and torpedo tubes being incapacitated. That really is the best choice there. I have equipped the special hydroacoustic search, which is a special modification you get in special containers or through contests. If I didn't have that, I would probably consider either propulsion or damage control system. And then in the third slot, aiming systems mod 1, while I have a special smoke generator, it cuts down on the dispersion time, which I really don't want to do. And propulsion modification 1, steering gears is necessary on some destroyers, but this one has a 4-second response on the rudder, so I went ahead with propulsion so I can get out of smoke or a stuck position quicker. And I use all premium upgrades. I'm sorry, consumables. They're not loaded right now, but they're well worth taking if you can afford them. As for my captain, I have priority target. That lets me know how many people are targeting me, how wiggly I have to get. Another good choice is preventive maintenance, additional reduction in the risk of your turrets or torpedo tubes becoming incapacitated. But I take last stand, which mitigates the steering and engine being ripped out. That's a must-have with destroyers. And my superintendent giving me an extra smoke, speed, and hydroacoustics. And concealment. The concealment brings me down to 6.6 kilometer detection until I've fired my guns. Then it's pushed out to the full 10.9 of the guns. As I move along, I may equip IFHE if I really start playing her more as a gunboat. Another good one is torpedo armament. That's going to speed up your time your torpedo tubes come back up. They're already at 90 seconds. Go ahead and take 10% off of that, and she can be spawning torpedoes all the time. Another one, if you're going to go hunting destroyers, would be to consider radio location, or if you're going to do a lot of capping, that tells you where the nearest red ship is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the game and the information about the ship. I hope you'll subscribe if you feel like it, leave a comment, and we'll see you out there. Thanks a lot.